Ready?
All right. So you mentioned that you were coming from class.
Yeah.
Which class were you in?
I was in this class called the Foundations of Bioethics. It's a home bio class.
That's cool. That sounds foundation. So is that more of like a legal public policy side of things, or what's going on in that class?
It's not really. It's more of like the study of ethics in terms. I mean, it's really just ethical. It's like kind of taking apart from the legal aspects. Really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait. So what's your focus in hum bio? I don't think I've ever asked.
I'm
you
actually
before.
not home bio. I just am taking a class, but I'm bio, so I'm concentrating in neurobio. So just straight up bio.
Oh, cool. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize that. Okay, so your bio. So is this hum bio course sort of like an elective for your major? Is it just something that you're taking for fun?
I'm hoping that it could apply to my major, but other than that, I'm just sort of taking it for fun. And it was really interesting to me on course rank, and like everyone seems to like it, and I love it now. So
Yeah. Which professor teaches that class?
David Magnus.
Nice.
Yeah,
It's a powerful name.
I know. It's a pretty powerful guy too.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
So are you pre-med, or are you looking to go into research, or do you know yet?
Definitely pre-med. Yeah, I've wanted to be a doctor since I was 7. So
Why did something happen when you were 7, or is that just the age when you realized
so my grandfather was really, really sick, and one of my favorite things to do when I was that age, like 6 or 7, was play doctor with him. And I was the only one he would take pills from, and when he went to the hospital, I was like really into all the machines, and the doctors were really nice about explaining everything to me, so I just became fascinated by it, and ever since then I've sort of gravitated more towards science and realized I love science, and then I love like lab work, and I love being in the hospital. So, well, not personally being in the hospital, but like, helping people.
Yeah, absolutely. So. That's amazing. I had no idea that you had that kind of like such a deep-rooted reason to be a doctor.
Yeah, it's been a long road. So,
did you do anything like in high school to support that? Like, did you have any like programs or clubs that like focused around being pre-med back then, or?
No, I was in all the AP sciences and started working in a lab my freshman year of high school. So.
Oh wow, freshman year of high school, you're in a lab?
Yeah,
that's amazing.
So I started early because I knew that that's what I wanted to do. And at that time, I sort of thought that research and medicine were like the same.
Oh.
And it was a pretty ignorant view, but I ended up loving research too, which is not really what I want to do for the rest of my life.
But I'm sure it's a great experience to have had for sure, because it only deepens your understanding of
for sure
science. What was that lab specifically doing?
So it was a lab in Cape Cod. So I went I'm from St. Louis, and I went from St. Louis to Cape Cod every summer, and it was a neurobiology lab also. And so we were working on a couple different things, but one of the coolest things was like we wanted to look at secretion in this type of neuron, because no one's really ever seen secretion happen before, and so in response to insulin. So that was one of my first projects there.
That sounds amazing. That sounds so high level. I can't believe you're doing that when you're what, like 14 or 15?
Yeah, I'd never taken a bio class before that, but like it's one of those things where you really don't need too much prior experience or prior knowledge to be able to like do work and understand what you're doing, because it's so focused.
That's true. And where did the interest, because like you mentioned that was like a neurobio project, and that was really, where did that interest in like neurology come so early on?
It didn't really come until after that experience in the lab. So I just kind of happened to end up in that lab, and then because of that, just found out that I loved learning about the brain and everything like that. So
yeah, well, it's really fascinating, and it's kind of stuff that they're, I mean, obviously still continuing to learn so much about like how the brain works.
Exactly. I mean, there are more neurons in your brain than there are stars in the sky. So if you just think about that and think about like how little we know about, space, we know like very much, we basically know nothing about how the brain is organized. So it's a big undertaking for neuroscientists.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that sure makes the research side of things really compelling, even if you don't end up going that route.
Right. There's always something to learn too, which I think is something that I really like about research. It's not like you sort of get bogged down by doing the same thing over and over again. It's like you're really discovering something new that no one has ever studied before, which is something that I really like about it.
So rad. So, like, in med school, do you see yourself focusing on some kind of concentration in neuroscience or like disorders of the brain, or like a different direction, like surgery or something?
I don't think I could do surgery, but I also don't think I could do neurology. I'm really torn. I like love learning about the brain, but I don't know if I want to be a physician of the brain because a lot of the patients that you would see as a neurologist have back pain or Alzheimer's. And back pain is just kind of like a really boring thing to see. You prescribe them pain meds or whatever, and then it's fine. And Alzheimer's, you can't really do anything about at this point. So I sort of feel like I would feel very inadequate in that type of job. But at the same time, being a like neurosurgeon would be like so much pressure. I mean, you nick one part of the brain and someone can't speak anymore. So it's
Terrifying.
yeah. So I don't think I could do that either.
Cool. So, do you know at all what your specialty is going to be? You're just exploring still?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go into med school with an open mind and see what I fall in love with, and yeah, I think that it's a good plan for me. I mean, when I was 7, I wanted to be a gerontologist. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's a doctor that takes care of old people because of my grandfather.
That's so sweet.
So, but you know, now and like looking back or thinking about the reality of that type of job, it doesn't seem like the most. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, there definitely be challenges there for sure.
For sure.
So, wow, so you're going to be starting that process next year?
Oh, I'm taking 2 years off, so no. I can't start thinking about that for a while. I really need a break.
Yeah, that's because I remember my freshman year, I had our fee and I was going through the whole med school application process, and like, it's a lot. I had no idea how intensive it was, like the interviews and.
It lasts like a whole year. So, I mean, people who are applying to go straight through to med school have to start applying now, basically.
Wow.
And then interviewing all next year.
It's crazy.
I know.
So, do you have you started to make plans for your gap years, or are you kind of leaving that open? Because, I mean, like you said, we're not even seniors yet.
I really need to start making plans, but I just haven't yet. There's so much else to focus on. I mean, like, I'm taking the MCAT this summer, and so that's, like, going to take up a lot of time. But, yeah, it's something I need to do, for sure.
Do you have, like, any inklings, like, would you want to go abroad, like, do that kind of service, or is there stuff, like, in the States you want to do? Do you want to work? Like,
yeah, I want to go somewhere and do something. So I want to like, be able to make an impact somewhere where, like, whatever I do or whatever I learn can directly impact my ability to be a physician. So I don't just want to, like, work, you know, at a restaurant or, you know, I don't want to continue working in a lab, really, because that's kind of what I've been doing for a while. But I really would like to do something different that could benefit me as a physician later and that I could really take with me to med school.
no, I think that would be so, yeah, any chance to, like, you know, live abroad or do any kind of service would be really, and it's kind of like one of the only times in our lives we can really just up and do that.
For sure. No families, no kids. Well, we have a family, but not like our own family.
Yeah, speaking of your family, do you have siblings, or is it just you?
Yeah, I have a sister. She's older and graduated from Stanford last year, actually.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, congrats to her. What's she been up to? Is she also going to be a doctor?
No. She was a cello performance major.
Wow.
So we're, like, really different. But she's in Florence right now for the year, studying music.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So I guess, does she want to play cello professionally, or?
I think in an ideal world she would, but it's so competitive that she really has to be realistic about the situation, and the fact that she came to Stanford and didn't go to a conservatory is kind of putting her behind other people who did get all of that, you know, practice and training and everything like that. So still on. So yeah, I don't really know what she wants to do, but she's coming back in co-terming, so she has, like, still a little bit more time to decide.
Figure that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a lot of pressure. So, like, were you always, like, kind of going in really different directions, like, when you're growing up together, or did you, like, do the same things? Like, what was that like?
I mean, starting out, we were pretty similar. Like, we both started playing instruments at, like, when we were 5, and she's 2 years older than me, so we didn't start at the same time, but And I don't know, we like both went to the same schools and just like, but then in high school and middle school and high school, we really started, our interest started going off in two different directions. I think it's good that way because you don't get the competition.
Yeah, it's like you're never really under her shadow if you're just doing something totally different.
Yeah. So I think it's pretty good. Yeah, and we have a much better relationship now that like we aren't living under the same roof because she would always be practicing her cello at like 2 a.m. and it was crazy. It was a struggle.
Did you ever have to share a room?
No, but she was right across the hall, so it was still
lots of contact, I imagine.
Yeah, a little too much contact.
What was it like when she originally like came to Stanford and then you were like the only child left in the house? Was that weird?
That was so weird. So actually my grandmother lives with us too, and that was nice because my mom would like not just focus her attention on me, but like she'd also focus on my grandmother. And so it just kind of made like being an only child at that point a little bit more bearable, but at the same time it was like a lot of attention from my parents, and a lot of times it was too much attention, but that's fine.
Yeah, well, especially because that would have been those like kind of 2 crucial years when you're doing your college applications, and
it's
a lot of pressure.
There's a lot of like them talking to me about college and expectations and stuff, as I'm sure you know.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm happy to be here now. So.
Yeah, it all worked out. And what was it like getting to college and then also like being reunited? Like, did you spend a lot of time with your sister here, or?
She was really good my freshman year about keeping our distance. Like, she really let me be an individual at Stanford and like grow on my own and like get my own friends. She wasn't like a hoverer, you know, which I sort of anticipated her to be because she kind of acts like she's my second mom. And so it was nice that like, you know, whenever I needed something or like once or twice a month or something, we would get together and do something, but it wasn't like I would see her all the time or, you know, she really let Stanford be my own school.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
It's a good balance. But I mean, it also must be so nice just to have somebody to like bother, like, hey.
Oh, for sure. It was really nice. I miss her now. But, I mean, part of the concern about coming to the same school as my sister was just that I would see her all the time and like I couldn't really have my own life without her. And I really realized that like, yes, Stanford is a huge school and I can, you know, be my own person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I am.